So good morning everyone. My name is Lalit Soni and I welcome you all in this live session by Drishti IAS. It's about your Indian Express newspaper. So if you have gone through the newspaper or you can just scan the newspaper, you will find out that most of the news today are basically political in news, that is effect of elections. And if we have a look at the explained section, we will have some important articles there. So we have taken 2-3 articles from explained, then around the world we have taken 1-2 articles, and there was one news which is related to an elephant corridor which we have taken. Okay, so let's start. So in this session, we'll be talking about Dulung Subansiri Elephant Corridor. So this particular elephant corridor is it will be proposed in the next meeting. So we will talk about this particular area. Then H5N1. So this particular you can say avian influenza virus we will talk about. This is a new strain. It has been in the domain, but the thing is since 1966 it was there, but recently we have seen some worse effects. So we will be talking about it. Then governors assent to the state bills. This issue of governors role while legislating in the state assemblies, etc., or when we are talking about the struggle between the state government versus governor. So this has been in news for a long time. Recently you must have heard about this state of Punjab case in Supreme Court, and Supreme Court has given a verdict over there. Okay, and now recently Kerala has gone to Supreme Court again. So we will be talking about that. Okay, afterwards we'll take some 1 or 2 news from the around the world, and then we will see a practice question which will be for your practice, and you have to answer that in the comment box. This is the front page of today's newspaper. Here you can see this is just ED versus Kejriwal case here, and then Mukhtar Ansari, he was a politician and he was gangster at a time. So he got an cardiac arrest and he died in the jail. Then Kejriwal names Mangutas in court, father son busy in campaigning for BJP ally. So these are all just political news. I will not go into details of it. So let's start with the practice question which was given to you in the previous lecture. What role do Indian Ocean Islands nation play in the India's necklace of diamond policy? We have talked about this necklace of diamond policy as well as of string of pearls policy. Okay, so when we are talking about necklace of diamond, this is a policy, or you can say it is a terminology which we use in India's foreign policy. It is not a formal policy as per se, but the thing is it is a name which has been given by experts to a particular observation which has been made by them. Okay, so they provide strategic location to counter string of pearl policy of China. Then all these you can read, but this is the right answer because this is the obvious answer in this. Okay, then now coming to the diagrams which we maps which we have already talked about yesterday. So here you can see this is the string of pearls wherein from China, from Hong Kong to in the areas of South China Sea, and here in Cambodia, then in Myanmar this Quang Phu port, then this Chittagong port, here Hambantota port, in Maldives they have also have some presence. Then we have Gwadar port, and here we have Djibouti. Okay, so these are basically some ports which has some kind of Chinese influence over there, or you can say that China has a presence over there. Okay, so this is an idea where they are trying to encircle India from all the sides in the maritime boundary. Okay, so that one thing. Other than that, when we are talking about China's presence, so you know that here in Aksai chain also we have Chinese presence. Then when we are talking about this area in Tawang, they keep doing some raids. Okay, they try to do some kind of aggression over there. Okay, so this is how they are trying to poke India. Okay, so that is the policy of string of pearls. Then coming to the next policy, that is how India is countering it. So India is also trying to make some allies in the area. Okay, so here you can see we have Japan in the vicinity of China. Then we have Vietnam, Singapore, this Sabang port in Indonesia. Then we have Assumptions Island in Seychelles, then this Duqm Island in Oman, and Chahbar which is in Iran. Okay, this Chahbar Island is also important for the connectivity in the other West Asian countries as well as Europe. Okay, so that is how why Chahbar becomes even more important. It is in Iran. So this is how India is trying to counter China's game in the Indian Ocean region. Okay, here we have Mongolia. Mongolia is also one of the ally. Other than that, recently you must have seen that India is trying to build a good relations, or you can say there is an affinity towards the Central Asian countries as well. Okay, so this is how India is trying to counter that particular string of pearls. Okay, so that is necklace of diamonds. So I hope this is clear. Option A would be your right answer. Now we will start with the first article of the day, that is related to Arunachal Pradesh and Assam. There is a proposal wherein they are going to establish a elephant corridor. Okay, so here you can see. Okay, sorry. So basically, there was this comment which they are saying that PDF of this thing, and these classes are daily. Yes, these classes are from Monday to Friday, and PDF of this particular session will be sent to your Telegram channel. We have this Telegram channel, and link of that channel is given in the description, so you can go to that channel and download the PDF. Okay, so now coming back to the article. Arunachal, Assam told to ready elephant corridor plan. So basically, recently Central Ministry, or you can say Environment Ministry, has given a direction to the state governments of Arunachal Pradesh and Assam to make a plan for elephant corridor. Okay, so this elephant corridor basically Dulung Subansiri elephant corridor. We have this Subansiri plant, or you can say 2000 megawatt lower Subansiri hydroelectric project. In the vicinity of that particular project, they are going for this elephant corridor. When we are talking about elephant corridor, you can say that it is a particular patch of lands, or let's say there are some forest. Okay, so this is somewhere in Arunachal Pradesh, there is a patch of forest in Arunachal, and then in Assam there is a patch of forest over here. Now in between there is some kind of project, or let's say there is some kind of roadways which are going, or you can say these two patches are not merged together. Okay, now what they are trying to do is that they will make a patch which will connect these two lands. Okay, so that this elephant can go from one patch to another. Okay, so that we can consider it as an integrated area altogether, which is helpful because you can say that that will lead to procreational activities over there. Okay, other than that also it will be easy for these elephants to navigate through these paths. Okay, and there are chances that because of such things, such corridors, the man animal conflict, or you can say animal on the or the road accident can be avoided. Okay, so that is the plan behind it. So let's see. Here first you can see the proposal to demarcate Dulung Subansiri elephant corridor downstream of 2000 megawatts lower Subansiri hydroelectric project will be presented during the next meeting of National Board of Wildlife. Now, who chairs this National Board of Wildlife? You can answer in the comment box. National Board for Wildlife. Who will be chairing this particular board? You can answer in the comment box. Okay, now elephant corridor is a strip of land that enables connectivity in otherwise fragmented wildlife habitats. As I told you, there are two habitats or two forest land which are fragmented, and this is an endeavor to try to connect them. Okay, they help animal movement and enable genetic exchange, which in turn helps sustaining elephant population. Okay, so since if there will be interaction, then there will be this genetic exchange, or you can say procreational activities, and that will lead to a stable population of elephants. Okay, so that is the basic idea behind. Otherwise we can see the news here. National Board for Wildlife which is the apex government body on the wildlife conservation and the regulation of development project in the wildlife areas. So there will be a meeting that is to happen, and before that meeting the government has told these two states to come up with a plan. Okay, including the corridor as a part of legally notified protected area will provide a legal sanctity to it. Okay, when you are going for this corridor which is legally notified as a protected area, it will give a legal sanctity to the conservation of that particular area. An expert committee of National Board of Wildlife, which was inspecting the compliance of the conditions imposed on the Arunachal Pradesh government as a part of the clearance of the hydroelectric project, had recommended the notification for the elephant corridor. So basically there was this committee which went to inspect this particular project. Okay, the Subansiri lower Subansiri hydroelectric project. They went there and they were going for the inspection of the compliance by the state over there. So they have come up with the idea, they have seen that there is a need of elephant corridor, so they have actually recommended it, okay, and government has accepted the recommendation, and now they are asking these two states to go for a demarcation of the area or a plan to come up with, okay. It will facilitate east-west movement of the elephant across the Subansiri river. When we are talking about this Subansiri river, it is a you can say tributary of Brahmaputra river. I hope I have put the map here. Okay, fine. So here this is your Brahmaputra and this is Subansiri. Okay. So now when we are talking about this particular elephant corridor, we are saying that there will be a east to west movement over here. Okay, this is the Dhemaji district, and there is another district in the you can say Assam. And in these two districts there is this hydroelectric project, okay, and now we are going for the electric this particular elephant corridor, which will connect this forested fragmented patch of forest around this particular river, okay. So elephants can cross this river using this particular corridor, okay. So it will provide an east to west movement or west to east movement across the Subansiri river. The corridor presently allows east-west movement of the elephant across Subansiri river, but it is fragmented and require a urgent restoration effort. As I told you, they are saying that there is a already existing corridor. Let's say this is the one patch, this is another patch, there is this river. So somehow there is some kind of land which is there, but this is fragmented. So elephants has to, you know that elephant up to a certain height, they can walk through that particular river area if water flow is very low, okay. So that is how there is already a corridor which is fragmented. Now we are trying to revive it, okay. So that is the project, that is Dulung Subansiri Elephant Corridor. Each state could notify area of the corridor falling in respective jurisdiction as conservation reserve under the Wildlife Protection Act 1972. I would want you to go through this particular act, that is Wildlife Protection Act 1972. Go through this particular act, go through the important provision of the act, okay. This is the static part of your syllabus. Now India's WII rapid assessment will do the rapid assessment of the elephant corridor. That is not very much important. Here you can say that National Board of Wildlife has commissioned the rapid assessment last year to recommend ways to ensure connectivity between the Panir Reserve Forest and the Duling Reserve Forest. These are the two patches which we are trying to now connect. Now 2000 megawatt lower Subansiri executed by the National Hydroelectric Power Corporation NHPC. It was working. It has been working since 2003, but it is not yet commissioned, okay. And these are the two districts which I was talking about, Kamle and Dhemaji district in Arunachal Pradesh and Assam respectively, and being constructed on the Subansiri river, a tributary of Brahmaputra river. So this is about this particular article. Now what things are important here is that first, the name of the corridor, that is important, states in which it will be present, river, and the river whose tributary it is, so that is Brahmaputra. Along with this, that particular hydropower project, details of that hydropower project, not details like how, which one, like just the name and states which are affected by it, okay, and on which river it is, okay. So these are certain things which they can ask you, okay. So please keep a note of that. Other than that, these two forest reserves, that is Panir Reserve Forest and the Dulung Reserve Forest. So these things you can remember from this particular article, okay. Now we can move further. So we have seen this particular map. Now coming to the another article that is related to your H5N1. This is one, you can say, influenza virus. Influenza virus are, you can say, they have this origin from the birds. The infected birds are there, and then this can be transmitted to the poultry farms, etc., okay, and to the chickens and turkeys, etc. And if a person, or you can say human beings, are in the constant interaction with that particular poultry farm, that can transmit it to humans as well. So you can say that this is a zoonotic disease, okay. So when we are talking about this H5N1, this has its inception in 1960s from China, and then it spread to various parts of the world. But recently we have seen that in USA many birds has died because of this, okay. And now it is also affecting the poultry as well as humans as well, okay. So that is one thing. Other than that, this humans, the first case of this infection in human, that has come up in the Cambodia, okay. So that is important for us. Now coming to the article, please remember these 3-4 details. Okay. Now earlier this week, United States Department of Agriculture confirms that a form of avian influenza, or you can say bird flu, okay, has a devastated wild bird population around the world, has been found for the first time in dairy cattle in Texas, Kansas. Okay, so these are 2 states of USA. So when we are talking about the inception, as I told you, 1960s, it was there in China, but recently for the first time it was seen in the dairy cattle as well. Okay, dairy cattle, you can say your buffaloes, cows, etc. Okay, so last week officials in the Minnesota has announced that highly pathogenic H5N1 strain has been found in goats, the first detection of virus in the domestic ruminants. Okay, so you don't have to remember that first where it was found in the in the goats first time, where it was found in the cattle first time. Just know that since when this virus is in the public domain, that is, or you can say in the environment, that is 1960s for the first time from the China. Okay, now moving further, since 2020 avian influenza has killed tens of thousands of seals and sea lions. These are aquatic animals. Now it is your duty to go and search them on the internet, so that there is a picture which is created in your mind. Okay, when we see these species and we see their picture, we go through their a little bit in details about them. So these things will be imprinted in your mind. So that will help you a lot. So go through the internet, seals and sea lions, you can check. Okay. So thousands of seals and sea lions in a vast area from the coast of northeast United States to Chile. Okay, Chile, you know that it is in the South America, and when we are talking about this particular seals and sea lions which has been affected by this influenza virus, that is from the North American coast to the South American coast. Okay, now the infection has also infiltrated mainland Antarctica for the first time. Okay, then in February this year, Cambodian Health Ministry said that 9-year-old boy infected with the virus has died and several were sick. Okay, so this is for the first time in Feb 2024. We have seen that they have even infected the humans as well. Now what is this new type of bird flu infection? Okay, so there are various kind of bird flus. There are various influenza virus which are with the birds, but not all of them are basically dangerous. Okay, so there are various you can say birds which are living with these viruses, okay, and they are not harmful to that. But the thing is, when they interact with the poultry, they come to the poultry farm, etc., or you can say they try to infect the chickens and the turkeys. Now in that particular area they try to reproduce. Okay, these virus, they multiply themselves. When they multiply, at that point of time they go for a genetic mutations as well. Okay, and when they go for a genetic mutation, so because of certain changes, they becomes actually dangerous for these poultry farms, or you can say these poultry animals. Now once they become dangerous, they start infecting them, then because of which the poultry or the chickens, or you can say turkeys, they get affected by these things, and there are high chances that they can die also. Okay, so that is how they start affecting them, because of the mutation. Okay, and then once humans also come into contact of which, okay, and because of the various mutation, you know that when we are talking about the COVID has gone through a various number of changes. Okay, some virus, some particular strains were very deadly, some were okay. So like that also, when we are talking about the influenza virus, all of them are not basically you can say harmful or deadly, but because of the particular mutations they can be deadly. Okay, so but avian flu is an infectious viral illness seen mainly among the poultry and some wild birds. Not all strains of the virus are dangerous. Many of them have circulated for long among the at least 100 bird species, such as wild waterfowl. Okay, so this particular thing you can go and check on the internet, that is wild waterfowl, without causing any kind of harm. Now from time to time the virus jumps from wild birds to the poultry farms. When replicating, or you can say multiplying in the cramped warehouses of farmed birds, it evolved through highly pathogenic form that cause a bigger wave of illness and death. Okay, so that is basically the reason behind the illness, because they go through the mutation. Now H5N1 is one of such highly pathogenic type from virus that devastated farm bird population in China from 1996. Sorry, I was wrong, it is not 1960, it is 1990s. Okay, 1996. Since 1996 it was in the environment. Okay, so or maybe it has been in the environment in the far earlier than that, but it was detected in 1996 for the first time. Okay, so please correct myself here. So okay, fine. So it was there in China from 1996 onwards, and new H5N1 type first emerged in Europe in 2020. So 1996 China, 2020 in Europe, and afterwards it went to Africa and Asia, and by late 2021 it has reached to North America, okay, and South America in 2022, and in February 24 this has affected the Antarctica as well as humans. Okay, so that is about this virus. You don't have to remember all these things, just remember that in 1996 China it was first detected. Okay, now as of December 2023, more than 80 countries, resulting in the culling of millions of chickens and turkeys at commercial poultry farms, and struck numerous species of wild birds, gulls, terns, and killing them. So basically this is what they are affecting. So this virus is affecting, you can say, your birds, then you can say this poultry, then mammals. There are some mammals they are affecting, there is sea lion, etc., and then now humans are also, humans are part of mammal species, okay, family, but so these are particular species which are getting affected by this. Okay, now bird flu outbreak was the first worst globally and in the US history, with hundreds of million birds dead since 1996. Okay, because of this virus many birds got affected. Which animal species have been affected? As I told you, there are farm birds, there are wild birds, then poultry, then there are certain mammals. Here you can say farm birds, wild birds, some of which have already been on the verge of the extinction. Then there are certain foxes, pumas, skunks, black and brown bears in North America, farmed minks in Spain and Finland, small mammal species that are often kept in filthy, overcrowded enclosures, so where chances of infections are very high. So these all species are basically vulnerable. Okay, so if there is a statement in let's say in your exam which is saying that influenza virus, that is H5N1, is affecting birds only, because when we are talking about the avian influenza, mostly we relate it with the birds. Okay, but that is wrong. That starts on the birds, but then it is affecting the poultry and these mammals as well. Okay, hold on. Okay, now but it is marine mammals that are worst affected. Nearly 20,000 sea lions and handful of dolphins has died in Chile and Peru, and there is death of seals as well. Okay, so these 3-4 species, that is sea lions, okay, then dolphins, okay, seals. Just go through these species, because I cannot put each and every image in like 45 or 50 minutes of session. So it goes through these species, and I would suggest that you go through it just after the session, so that it will be fresh inside your memory. Okay, then 95% of the southern elephant seals pups born along the 300 kilometers of the Patagonia coastline died at the end of the 2023. It is the first report that massive elephant seal mortality in the area from any cause in the last half century. Okay, so these elephant seals also you can look for. Okay, so you don't have to remember all these things, because they will not ask you how many species died or not. The thing is, they will ask you about these things. Okay, something specific about sea lion. If there is something for which these sea lions are famous, they can just ask you about that. Okay, so there was this question in UPSC last time, that which kind of species, or there were options given, and out of which this particular, when they see food, they try to indicate their other fellows by doing a humming dance. Okay, now this is a question which was asked in UPSC 2023 last time's paper. Okay, because of this particular thing, that these honeybees has been in the news for some reason, and that is why they have asked you that question. So there are chances that I would suggest that go to the internet and just search these things and type, you can say, why sea lions are in news recently. So if they are in the news or in the discourse, they will come in the front of you, so you can answer those questions very easily. Now humans are theoretically also at the risk, but rarely contracted bird flus. But this is one Cambodian case was really one of the exception. Okay, humans in infection involve people who have come in contact with the large number of the sick birds at the poultry farm. Cambodian case represents an exception. Okay, what's behind the large scale spread of the virus? Now this is something which I would say is important for you. Either this first paragraph, first and second paragraph, and the last paragraph, this was important. Now here you can see they are saying that why it is happening. Now that can be because of the climate change. Experts are saying that there is no other reason which they can cite. They are saying that that can be because of the climate change as well. Okay. Now this bird viruses, or you can say influenza viruses, these are present over there. But recently there have been these activities like where temperature has been rising, or you can say ocean surface temperature is rising, because of which these sea lion etc. they are already vulnerable. Okay, and since they are vulnerable, such virus can target them easily because their immunity is weak at that point of time. So that can be one of the reason. Here they are saying that the exact reason is unknown. That can be because of the climate change, could be a reason. Rising global temperature impact the behavior of the birds in a way that hastens the spread of the flu. Okay. Then here you can say they are forced to move into new territories. These birds, or you can say these aquatic animals, they are quite sensitive to the temperature, or you can say environmental changes, or if there is a change in the temperature, or you can say rainfall, they will try to migrate from that particular area. So when such things happen, so these birds are forced to move to a newer places, and there they can interact with the newer species as well. Okay, and since these are mostly birds, so they are getting interacted, they are interacting with other birds in the vicinity of those areas. So they are forced to move into the new territories and mix with the species they are usually don't interact with, which possibly boosts the chance of virus getting spreading further. That is one thing. Second thing is higher sea surface temperature, warmer water near the northern Chile area, where we have seen that there is a death of sea lions, or you can say elephant seals etc. So the warmer water near northern Chile has led to the fall in the forage of fish population. Because of fall in the fish population, what is happening when temperature sea surface temperature is high, see these phytoplanktons, the growth of phytoplanktons will be less. Okay, because of which zooplanktons will be less, and then fishes will have less to eat, that those fishes which are thriving on the zooplanktons, that population will be less. And because fish population is less, so the food for these sea lions etc. will be less available, and because of which they will be vulnerable, and ultimately these virus can target them. Okay, so this is the reason behind this particular H5N1. So we have seen that. Now I would want you to remember 2-3 things here. First, in 1996 it was encountered. After that it has spread to various areas. There are certain species which it targets, that is you can say first birds, and specifically you can say wild birds. Then there are poultry animals, then some mammals, for which here you can see these are important here. Some of the mammals they have seen here. Okay, gulls, terns etc. Then we have this foxes, pumas, skunks, black and brown bears etc. Okay, other than that some aquatic animals like sea lions or seals, elephant seal. Okay, all these things you can remember. Other than that, these reasons are important. Okay, how it is affecting the population. Okay, so that is about it from this article. Now moving further, next article is related to your governor's assent to the state laws. So we have discussed it various times. I will tell you what is the issue right now. So what happens is Kerala government has sent some bills for the assent of the governor, and governor did not provide assent for a long time. Okay, and when we are talking about long time, that is up to 2, 3, 4 years. Okay, so they have not given the assent. Okay, and now the thing is, afterwards recently you must have heard the case, that is Punjab government. So in that case also there was some bills which has been passed by the assembly, but the assent was not given by the governor. So they went to the court, and governor says that I was of the opinion that this assembly was convened illegally or by a unlawful way, so that is why I was holding on to that. Okay, So now question is that can governor hold on to such bills for a unlimited period of time? Okay, so the time period in the constitution, it says that whenever there is a bill, government can either give you the assent or withhold the assent. Okay, but if you are withholding the assent, so you have to send it for the reconsideration as soon as possible. Okay, so let's see, I'll tell you. First what happens, that bill goes to the governor. Now governor has three things they can do. One is they can give the assent. Okay, if they give the assent, that bill becomes a law or an act. So okay, so that is one thing. But if they are withholding the assent, they are not giving the assent right away. Okay, so what they can second thing is they can reject. First thing is they can give it, second thing is they are withholding or they are saying no to that. Okay, now third thing is they are withholding it, and constitution says that as soon as possible you have to send it for the reconsideration. Okay, so that is the thing. So government has these things to do. Now as soon as possible word has not been defined, or you can say there is no time period which has been given by the constitution in this regard. Even in the Supreme Court judgment in the Punjab case, they have said that government should go for the reconsideration for as soon as possible, but the thing is they have not given the timeline. Now Kerala government is saying that this particular thing because of which governor is not giving assent and they are not sending it for the reconsideration, even if they are saying no for the bill, they are withholding the assent, they are not giving any kind of reason. So that is why they have gone to the Supreme Court now. So now let's see what this article is talking about here. The Kerala government last week approached the Supreme Court saying that President Draupadi Murmu has withheld the assent for 4 bills passed by the state while disclosing no reason whatsoever. Okay, so the governor of the particular state withheld the assent to the 7 bills, some as long as for 2 years. Okay, so that is what is happening in that particular area. Now what is governor's role? So there is this article 200. Now article 200 says that whatever I just told you about the role of the government or the power of the government. So here they says that as soon as a bill comes to governor, governor will give the assent, okay, or withhold the assent. And if they are withholding the assent, they are not giving the assent, in that case they will send it for reconsideration as soon as possible. Okay, so that is what article 200 is saying. Other than that, governor can do one more thing. What they can do is, beside these things, they can reserve it for president. They can reserve it for the president. Okay, so that is one thing. Now let's assume the first case, they have sent it for the reconsideration. What will happen? It has been gone to the state assembly again. Assembly will send it with the amendment or without the amendment. Okay, here when you are sending it for the reconsideration, you can send with the reason or you can say any change you want. Okay, now assembly has power to decide whether they want to go for the change or not. If they are sending that bill again to the governors for the second time, at that point of time he has to give the assent. There is no other provision for that. He has to give the assent. So you can say that state assembly has larger power over there. Okay, now second thing is that he has reserved for the president. Now president has considered it, president has given the assent, then it will become a law. Now if president has not given the assent, or at that point of time, that can be he can guide the governor to go for the reconsideration. Governor will send it back to the assembly. Now assembly with or without amendment, they can send it back. At that point of time, since it was earlier reserved for the president, it will go to president only. Now president has power to either give the assent or not to give the assent. So in this particular case, if it is reserved for the president, in that case president has power to say no for that particular bill. Okay, in that regard state assembly can't do anything, even if that is sent after the reconsideration. Okay, so these are 2 articles. Now this is basically written in article 201. Governor's power are given in article 200 and president's consideration related provisions are given in article 201. Okay, so here is article 200 and then article 201, that is president's role, which we have already discussed. Now issue raised by the Kerala government. So now they have gone to the court with respect to this particular issue, that they have withdrawn the assent, and basically there was no reason that they have cited. So they are saying to the court that the decision to keep bill pending violates the article 200 by not making any decision as soon as possible. Now Kerala government is saying that since constitution provide for the this word, that is as soon as possible you have to do it, but if you are not doing it, you are prolonging it for 2 years, that is against the article 200, which is right, I guess. Now on President Murmu's decision to withhold the assent of 4 bills that was referred to her without giving any reason whatsoever, okay, so that is violation of article 201, which states that the president is required to return the bill with a message containing such amendment that they are recommending. Okay, so basically in this particular article 201, as I told you, if president is withholding the assent, okay, at that point of time they have to return it to assembly again. Now assembly will send you back with or without the amendment, okay, and at that point of time president has the final power to decide to give the assent or not to give the assent. But that is not happened in that case, and that is why they have come to the Supreme Court. Other such situation, so as I told you, in Punjab that happened, and in Tamil Nadu it is happening. Tamil Nadu's governor, that is R.N. Ravi, he is actually withhold his assent to nearly 10 bills. That was already discussed in our previous lecture, and then after the judgment of the Supreme Court, they have written the bill for the reconsideration. So that is the incident in Tamil Nadu. Then similar incidents has been there in Telangana. Okay, so now question of timeline of the assent. Now the question is that we discussed the 2 articles, that is article 200 and article 201. In 200 it is given that as soon as possible. Okay, and similar position was taken in the Punjab case, which we have already discussed earlier. Okay, so similar position was taken that Supreme Court says that you have to send it back to the assembly as soon as possible. Now question is related to what is as soon as possible. Now that is for Supreme Court to decide, but Supreme Court has not said anything, they did not put any kind of timeline. So that is a lacuna, we can say that. Okay, and now Kerala government is saying that Supreme Court should decide on the timeline related issue as well. Okay, so that is what this crux of this particular article. Okay, so here you have to remember 2 things, that is article 200 of the constitution, article 201 of the constitution, then powers of governor related to the state bills, power of president related to the state related bills, and then you can compare with the power of president in case of the bills from the parliament. Okay, so this is about the issue, and these are your learning, so this you have to keep in mind. Now moving further in your around the world, okay, before that there was this particular issue related to carrying cash during the election season. What are the rules? Okay, so generally what happens is that when there are elections, there is this restriction on carrying cash with you or gold or any kind of gifts which are expensive. Hold on. So Election Commission of India has put certain restrictions on that. Okay, recently what happens is there was this issue wherein this video in Tamil Nadu, which has been quite popular on the social media, wherein a sum of rupees 69,400 was recovered from a person in a vehicle. Okay, and that no doubt that money was returned later, but since this video was viral, so we have taken this article. What are the provisions related to it? Okay, and how does the EC deals with the money power during the elections? One thing is that for the campaigning, EC has allowed that 95 lakh rupees can be spent by the individual or candidate, okay, per constituency. If the constituency is big, and if it is small, then it is 75 lakh. What is big and small constituency, that will be decided by the Election Commission. Okay, so that is one thing, that is the provision. Other than that, there is this a team which will be on the, you can say, vigilance that no expensive gifts are being sent to the people, or you can say no money is distributed among the people before the elections, and importantly 72 hours before the election such hunts will be even more enhanced. Okay, so these things will be enforced just before the elections. Okay, now who will do that? So there will be a team on the district level, and there will be few members, a police member will be there, then there will be a videographer, all these things will be there. That is not important. If you want to read, you can read through this particular article over here. Okay. Then what are the rules here? Rules are saying that a person cannot carry more than 10 lakh, okay, and 1 kilogram of bullion, okay, or any kind of expensive gifts. Okay, so that is one thing that you cannot carry at the time of election more than that. But if you are a person who is the who is somehow related to the candidate, or you are candidate himself, in that case that restrictions are different. That is, you cannot have more than 50,000 rupees, or you cannot have any kind of more than 50,000 rupees cash, drugs, liquor, arms, or gift which is more than 10,000 rupees. So for the candidates, this is the restriction, and for the individuals, that is this, more than 10 lakh, 1 kg gold. Okay. So other than that, there are some provisions in CRPC that can be availed, that can be you can say used. Now what happens after the seizure? If you are having such kind of thing, then what will happen? So that particular team or the election commission's office team will be there, and they will look into it. Okay, and if there is nothing, if you are not connected with the political campaign somehow or the candidate, then they will give it back to you. Okay, so ultimately in this case also it was given back to the person. Okay. So authorities are meant to return if they are not related to any kind of candidate or a crime. A district level committee looks at the grievances in order to avoid inconvenience to the public and the genuine person. Okay, and district election offices, nodal office for the expenditure monitoring, and the district treasury officer shall suo motu examine each case of the seizure where no FIR complaint has been filed, or where the seizure is not linked with any kind of candidate, political party, or the campaign. So these are two officers. That is, one is related to your nodal officer for the expenditure monitoring. So okay, and second is the treasury officer. Okay, they will look into the matter, and if you are not involved, they will give it back to you. Okay, so that is the thing. Now coming to the second part related to your around the world. So recently World Court, that is International Court of Justice, they have given an order to Israel, okay, with respect to the issues in Gaza. They are saying that Gaza is going through a particular phase. They are facing famines, they are facing hunger over there. So now they have ordered Israel to go for aid over there. They allow the aid to come in that particular area. They have said that if you have to make multiple entry points, then you have to do that as well. Okay. Now the International Court of Justice Thursday unanimously ordered Israel to take all necessary and effective actions to ensure basic food supplies and arriving without any delay to the Palestinians population in the Gaza. Palestinians in the Gaza face worsening conditions of life, famine and starvation is spreading. So this is what the recent decision is. And before that, you know that there was this case which has been raised by South Africa in that regard to this particular war crimes which are happening in Gaza Strip. So they have said that it is some kind of genocide which is going on there, and at that point of time also court has said that Israel should not do any activities which can amount to genocide. Okay, so that was done earlier as well. Now they will not ask you all these things. They might ask you certain things related to your ICJ, that is International Court of Justice. Okay, so what is this? It is also known as the World Court, and it is the principal organ of UN. UN has 6 principal organs, and that is one of them, and it does not have its headquarter in New York. Other than that, all the 5 organs have the headquarter in New York. Okay, so it is based in Peace Palace in The Hague. Okay, so this is important, please remember that. It was established in June 1945 by the Charter of the UN and began working in the April 1946. Okay, remember this particular thing. Of 6 principal organs in United States, it is the one of those organs which does not have its location in New York. Okay, hearing of the ICJ are always public hearings. Okay, official language are basically French and English. Other than that, there are 2 type of cases they will actually cater to. That one will be the contentious issues. Okay, so these contentious issues or the legal dispute between the states. Okay, so here party can be states only, or 2 nations can only be party. Okay, so that is one thing, and these nations or these states should be the members of UN. Okay, now second thing is there are second advisory cases or advisory opinions which has been asked by the UN or the allied bodies. Okay, so one is contentious issues or the legal issues, and second is advisory. So when we are talking about these contentious or the legal issues, disputes among the states, the decision of the court in this particular issues are binding and they are final without any kind of appeal. Okay, and when we are talking about this opinion, these opinions are not binding in nature. Okay, so that is about International Court of Justice, please remember that. Okay, now moving to the another article which is related to Russia and Ukraine war, and here Russia has said that they have no intention to go for any kind of other NATO country. Okay, so Putin has said that no doubt this US led alliance has moved eastward, or you can say towards the countries which are in the vicinity of Russia. But the thing is, Russia does not have any kind of intention to harm these countries, or you can say taking the Poland or nearby areas. Okay, but the thing is, if US is aiding Ukraine by sending this particular F-16 fighter jets, so then they will shoot these fighter jets. Okay, so that is pretty normal if these countries are on the war. Okay, other than that, you know that Ukraine is a country which is having aspiration to join NATO, so that they can get into the umbrella of collective security. Okay, so that is one concern Russia has, because if that is under the NATO, it will be considered as an attack on the NATO. Okay, so that is the article regarding this. So you can go through this particular thing over here. Okay, so here Russia has said that they have no intention to attack on Poland, Baltic states and Czech Republic. Okay, now I would want you to comment the name of Baltic states. Okay, there are 3 Baltic states. Please comment the name, and if you don't know this, please go and make a note out of it. Okay, so that is about today's discussion. Now coming to the last part, that is your practice question. Which of the following actions can governor take upon receiving a bill passed by the state legislature? Your options are sign and approve the bill. Sign here means that give assent and approve the bill. Then return the bill for the reconsideration, withhold the assent to the bill. Okay, so these are certain options which are given here, and last option is all of the above. So you have to attempt this question and answer in the comment box. Okay, so I hope this is clear, and with that I would like to take your leave. And if you have not subscribed the channel, please subscribe the channel. I'll see you in the next episode, that will be on Monday. So have a good day. Thank you.